Uh-oh. License games, huh? That's usually not a good thing. But we'll give it the benefit of the doubt today. Greetings, fellow Vita fans. This is James with PSVita at 2 AM, coming at you once again with another exciting video. Although that might be left up for debate. And if you're new here and love everything PlayStation Vita, don't forget to subscribe. And be sure to leave me your thoughts and opinions on this topic down in the comments section. Video games based on a license. Are they good? No. Usually they're not, but let's see if we cannot turn the tide with today's list. PS Vita games that are based on a license, meaning a existing property. So, let's begin. I'm just as scared as you are. Oh no. A Muppets game on the PS Vita? Are you serious? I don't like this dark path that we're going down. So, let's discuss what this one's about. Enter the Muppets Movie Adventures. Camera, lights, action! Experience the glamorous life of Hollywood and play as Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Animal, and Gonzo the Great as they embark in a quest of creating movie magic through 5 blockbuster movie genres, from high seas to western to horror to fairy tale and then to sci-fi. Keyword being here horror. So on paper here, no pun intended, this seems like it would be at least a pretty decent Muppets game on the PS Vita. And it's okay. I mean, I'll admit it's a tad better than I was expecting it to be, but it's still basically not good. Mediocre at best. Borderline wanted to make me yank out my eyes from the sockets. And I think it comes down to the levels just being kind of uninspiring. All you do is just go from left to right, jump over enemies, and rinse and repeat. Oh, and we just got a shoehorn in here motion controls. Yay. And since there's only 5 levels, each of the levels are really long, so they can be quite the grind to go through. There were times where I was like halfway through the level and I was like, ugh, just end already. So while I wouldn't technically say this is a bad game, it's just 100% subpar. I would only recommend it to people who are hardcore Muppet fans, or... No, that's pretty much it. Next up is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Yeah, I guess that makes sense when you think about it. So in this game, you take on one of the Z fighters, the main heroes of Dragon Ball Z, and go through the story of Dragon Ball Z in an arena-style fighter. At least I think this is an arena-style fighter. You can battle on the ground, battle on the skies. Wait, battle on the skies? Use your ki blasts, your kamehamehas, and you get the idea. The controls are really good in this game. I didn't have any problems with that whatsoever. And the storyline that you follow, yeah, it does do a pretty good job of explaining what's been going on in Dragon Ball Z, albeit abridged. The only kind of problem I did have with this title though was the frame rate, especially during online play. It could stutter to a crawl during some moments of gameplay. But it didn't make me want to yank my eyeballs from the socket, so that's a good thing. But still, it's a lot of fun, so if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I highly recommend picking this one up, even though on the PS Vita, it's basically your only choice. Though that's easier said than done, because the game has unfortunately been delisted on most PS Vita stores, if not all of them, and the physical copy for the English version of the game is, well, it ain't cheap, let's just say that. But hey, we're the PS Vita community. We're used to overpaying for games. For better or worse. Still, a really fun game. Ah, now we're talking here. This is Adventure Time, Secret of the Nameless Kingdom, which is surprisingly a pretty subtle name, especially when we take into consideration some of the other Adventure Time games have been named in past when it comes to video games. Hey, Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage? Like, seriously? This is the best title ever. But unfortunately, we're not talking about that one, we're talking about this one. So what is this one all about? Well, it plays basically like a 2D Zelda clone, and a pretty decent one too, I may add. You take control of Finn, at least I believe that's his name. I don't know, I don't watch the actual series. I know, I'm ashamed of myself too. As him and Jake embark on a quest of dungeons and looting, and yeah, there's not a whole lot of a storyline here to go off of, at least from what I've seen. Though you'll know if you have played any of the past Adventure Time games that it's all about the adventure. Or an excuse to not write an engrossing storyline, either one. And if I was to compare what game in the Zelda series this plays like, unsurprisingly here, it plays a lot like Link to the Past. So if you enjoy playing your games from a top-down perspective, moving blocks, pushing buttons, finding keys for doors in dungeons, then this one will keep you busy for quite a long time. Yeah, it has a decent length to it. Pick this one up today! Just don't ever steal our garbage, Ice King. Okay, so we're not doing too bad here, guys. Next up is One Piece Burning Blood, based off of, obviously, the One Piece franchise. This can be a one-on-one fighter or even a 3-on-3 fighting game, which allows you to pull off different moves depending on the situation. Use devil fruits, or use your hockey to pummel your opponent. And I'm gonna just say a hot take here. I personally think that devil fruits are much better than hockey. Just saying, I know. Let the flame wars begin. Now, as far as an actual storyline goes, it's pretty paper thin in this. I mean, heck, they start you out at the Paramount Wars, which is literally like, I don't know, the halfway point of the series, at least before the time skip. So if you're a One Piece fan, you may be a little bit disappointed by that, but you won't be disappointed at the roster of characters. There's nearly like, I would say roughly almost 40 playable characters in this game, each with their signature moves that are true to the anime. The controls are solid, the special moves are easy to pull off, the music is, it's okay, but personally I like Pirate Warriors a lot better. Nothing I would listen to outside of the game. You just can't beat some of those jazzy beats from Pirate Warriors. My only minor gripe with the game was the perspective that you're thrown in. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the behind the back perspective, and I will admit I did feel a little bit on the disoriented side when I first started playing it, but I eventually did adapt. And when I say adapt, I mean months of therapy. And if you're a die-hard One Piece fan like me, well, you probably already have this game. We now go from pirates who like to loot and plunder to grown men that like to dress up like bats. Sounds like a winner to me. This is Batman Origins Blackgate. This is a title that surprisingly back in the day when it first came out, a lot of people weren't really big on. And I don't think it has anything to do with the game itself per se, but the fact that this is a 2.5D game, and I think everyone was kind of expecting it to be a 3D open world go anywhere, kind of like the previous PS3 games before it. Now that I think about it, I guess that does have to do with the game itself. And I'll admit, I too was a bit on the skeptical side, but once I started playing it, I found myself really getting into it. Insert your own sexual joke here. You play as Batman in a 2.5D environment, and it plays basically like Metroid. Only you're in Arkham. I guess that's close enough. And while this may not be the type of Batman game you were expecting at first, you will be happily surprised to know that all of Batman's abilities from the PS3 games are available here on Blackgate, just in a more 2D version of them. You got your batarangs, your grappling hook, your night vision, it's all there. But like with the other games I have talked about on this video, I do have a teensy tiny bit of a gripe with this game. First off, the enemies never respawn, which you would at first think is a good thing, but in this case, it's actually a negative. See, you have to do a lot of backtracking in this game, and believe me, you will be doing a lot of it. But since the enemies never respawn, you'll find out that the more you go into the game, and then the more you have to backtrack, you just find yourself running through empty corridors, and that can be kind of boring after a while. I nearly fell asleep during some parts. Plus, too, there's the final boss in the game, which I won't spoil for any of you guys who haven't actually had a chance to play this, but I didn't really care for the battle or the character that they chose to use as the final villain of this game, but I suppose that could be left up for debate. Feel free to flame me in the comment section. But other than that, though, this is a very solid plain Batman game, and if you can accept it for what it is regarding gameplay, I think you'll have a fun time with it. And if you don't, well, again, feel free to flame me in the comment section if you want. It's just inevitable. Whoa, this really turned out to be an anti-James video now, didn't it? Alright guys, well hey, that wasn't too bad. We got some pretty decent licensed games for the PS Vita in this video. Aside from the bad taste of that horrible Muppets game, well, mediocre I would still say. You're lucky I'm being gentle with you, Muppets game. But I would love to know, what are some of your favorite licensed games to play on the PS Vita? Did you know about all these? Did you discover some that you maybe hadn't heard of before? I'd love to know down in the comments section. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. This video has been brought to you in part by all of these wonderfully generous people who help make this content possible, including Rushin Ryu Cat, Alan Iwazuk, Milk-sama, Neo Arashi, Shin Snake, Reiko Star, Joseph Razmick, Matt Fox, Frayden, B Mystery, Zekrito, Zake Blue 1, McKees Blob, Robert Johnson, Hero Acer, BMF, Phantom XRS, Gutter Drums, Larry Anderson, Rodrigo Vera, Skullshirtugel TCG, David Ray, Adam Sondi, Clayman Malarkey, Saul Ramirez, Hemdall Imbert, H-Hitter, Aaron Swanson, Adam Thury, Wendy K, PS Vita S, Joshua Williams, Kyle Brooks, Jelly, Heston Joseph, Per Sterner, Richard Cruz, Jared Haddo, JR, Lori Sweeney, Kevin Enright, E-Rock, Robert Sylvester, Hector Gonzalez, Smug Wolf, Jamie, Matt Hargett, Dr. Super Artie, Michael O'Connor, Kayonko, Sakib Alam, Crazy Cat, Mazgus, Romp King, Furs and Mystery, 1488 Dental, Colossus, Tasha Monty, Donut Valley, Ricardo Martinez, Eric DeWitt, Nintendo Switch at 2 AM, Juan M. Hermosillo, and Azumara. If you would be interested in supporting the channel and seeing your name on this end screen here, or if you wish to remain anonymous, that can be provided too, then make sure to check the links down in the description below. I have numerous ways for you to do this down there. Can't support in this manner? Don't worry about it. Likes and shares can help equally as much. And everyone, we got lucky this time with licensed games, but next time, we might not be so lucky. But we'll see what happens. Same bat time, same bat channel. I felt it was kind of appropriate because we just talked about Batman Blackgate. Well, that was obvious.